My name is Natalie Brennan, and I am 31 years old. The night my family toasted to the real heir, I stood in the corner of my sister's penthouse, holding sparkling water while everyone else drank champagne. The party was for Caroline. My older sister. The golden child. The one who did everything right. Harvard MBA. 3 years at Dad's company. Engaged to the son of his biggest client. Perfect hair. Perfect smile. Perfect life. Tonight, Dad was announcing her promotion. Vice President of Operations. The position everyone knew was a stepping stone. In 5 years, maybe less, she would be CEO. She would inherit the empire our grandfather built. The company that bore our family name. Brennan Industries. Commercial. Development. Hotels. Office buildings. Luxury residential towers. Worth approximately $800 million. And soon, it would all be hers. I watched from my corner as Dad stood in the center of the room. Caroline beside him. Glowing. Radiant. Born for this moment. Dad cleared his throat. The room went silent. 70 people. Family. Friends. Board members. Executives. All of them waiting. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. We are here to celebrate something special. My daughter Caroline has accepted the position of Vice President of Operations at Brennan Industries. Applause. Enthusiastic. Loud. But more than that, we are celebrating the future of this company. Caroline represents everything we value. Intelligence. Dedication. Leadership. She has proven herself. Over and over. And tonight, I want you all to know what I have known for years. Caroline is the real heir to this company. The one who will carry our family legacy forward. More applause. Caroline smiled. Modest. Gracious. Accepting congratulations from the people around her. Dad raised his glass. To our future leader. To Caroline. Everyone raised their glasses. To Caroline. To the real heir. To the future. Everyone except me. I stood there, water in my hand, watching. Feeling invisible. Feeling exactly how I had felt my entire life. My younger brother James appeared at my elbow. He held a beer. Looked uncomfortable in his suit. You okay? Fine. You do not look fine. I am used to it. He frowned. You know this is messed up, right? You work just as hard as she does. Different work. Still work. Dad does not see it that way. James shook his head. He should. But he would not. He never would. Because to Dad, I was the disappointing daughter. The one who went to state school instead of Harvard. Who worked in nonprofit development instead of corporate operations. Who chose helping people over building portfolios. Caroline found me after the toast. She was flushed from champagne and attention. She hugged me. Too tight. Too long. Nat, I am so glad you came. Of course. Congratulations. This is just the beginning. Dad says in 5 years, maybe sooner, I will be ready for CEO. Can you believe it? I can believe it. She pulled back. Studied my face. You are happy for me, right? I am happy you got what you wanted. That is not the same thing. Caroline, you deserve this. You have worked for it. Enjoy your night. She squeezed my hand. I wish you understood what Dad is doing. It is not personal. It is business. The company needs someone who understands operations. Finance. Growth strategy. I understand. Do you? Because sometimes I think you resent me for being chosen. I do not resent you. I just wish I had been considered. Nat, you work for a non-profit. You make what, $60,000 a year? How? Would that prepare you to run an $800 million company? The words stung. Not because they were cruel. Because they were honest. That was how she saw me. How Dad saw me. How everyone saw me. Small. Insufficient. Unprepared. You are right. Enjoy your party. I walked away before she could respond. Found the balcony. Cold air. City lights. Space to breathe. My phone was in my pocket. Heavy. Waiting. I pulled it out. Checked my messages. Nothing yet. I had been checking every hour for 3 days. Waiting for a response. An answer. Confirmation that months of work had not been for nothing. Still nothing. I put my phone away. Leaned against the railing. Tried not to cry. Below me, the party continued. Laughter. Music. The sound of people celebrating someone else's success while I stood alone in the cold. People think nonprofit work is easy. It is not. It is fighting for scraps. Writing grants at midnight. Begging wealthy people to care about problems they will never face. I had been doing it for 7 years. Director of Development at Urban Hope Foundation. We built affordable housing. Created job training programs. Helped people climb out of poverty one family at a time. The work was exhausting. Endless. Important. And my family thought it was a hobby. Dad had made his opinion clear when I took the job. You are wasting your potential. You could work at the company. Make real money. Build something that lasts. I am building something that lasts. You are building dependency. Teaching people to rely on handouts instead of earning their own way. We teach job skills. Financial literacy. We help people become self-sufficient. He waved his hand dismissively. Charity is admirable. But it is not a career. When you are ready to do real work, let me know. That was 7 years ago. He had not changed his mind since. What he did not know, what none of them knew, was that my work had evolved. 6 months ago, I had been approached by a private equity firm. They had been watching our foundation. Impressed by our model. Our results. Our ability to create sustainable change with limited resources. They made an offer. They would fund a new venture. Affordable housing development at scale. Not charity. Business. Profitable business that also served people who needed it most. They wanted me to lead it. The initial investment was $12 million. If successful, we would scale nationally. Hundreds of properties. Thousands of families served. And yes, profit. Real profit. Enough to prove that doing good and doing well were not mutually exclusive. I had spent 6 months building the proposal. Financial models. Property analyses. Partnership agreements. Working nights and weekends. Sacrificing sleep. Pouring everything into proving I could do more than write grants. 3 days ago, I submitted everything to the board. Wealthy investors. Business leaders. People who spoke Dad's language. People who valued results over intentions. And I had been waiting for their response ever since. Tonight, while my family toasted Caroline's promotion, I was waiting to hear if I would get my own. CEO of Brennan Urban Development. A new company. My company. Separate from Dad's empire but bearing our family name. Proof that I was more than the disappointing daughter. But the board had not responded. And with every hour that passed, I felt my hope dying. Maybe they had changed their minds. Maybe my proposal was not strong enough. Maybe I was exactly what my family thought. Well-intentioned but ultimately insufficient. I checked my phone again. Still nothing. I stayed on the balcony for 20 minutes. Long enough to compose myself. Long enough to stop feeling sorry for myself. Then I went back inside. The party had moved into full celebration mode. Music louder. Laughter looser. Caroline was dancing with her fiancé. Dad was talking to board members. Mom was holding court with her friends. No one noticed when I returned. No one noticed when I refilled my water. No one noticed me at all. I found a chair in the corner. Sat down. Pulled out my phone to distract myself. And that is when it buzzed. New email. From Richard Chin, Chairman of the Investment Board. My hands shook as I opened it. Miss Brennan. The board has completed its review of your proposal for Brennan Urban Development. We are pleased to inform you that your project has been approved. Full funding. $12 million initial investment with additional capital available for expansion. We believe your model is innovative and scalable. We believe you are the right person to lead it. Congratulations. We look forward to working with you. Board vote was unanimous. Welcome aboard. I read it 3 times. Making sure it was real. Making sure I had not misunderstood. Approved. Funded. Unanimous. I had done it. Built something real. Something that would last. Something that proved I was more than what my family thought. I looked up. Across the room, Dad was raising his glass. Again. Another toast. Another celebration of Caroline. I stood up. My phone still in my hand. Heart pounding. Walked toward the center of the room where he stood. Dad saw me coming. Frowned slightly. Like I was interrupting. Natalie. We are in the middle of something. I know. I just received an email I thought you should know about. An email? Can it wait? No. It cannot. The room had gone quiet. People sensing something happening. Caroline stopped dancing. Turned to watch. I looked at Dad. Then at Caroline. Then at the 70 people filling the room. I just received approval from a private equity board. $12 million in funding. For a new company. Brennan Urban Development. Affordable housing. At scale. Profitable and sustainable. I will be CEO. Silence. Complete. Suffocating. Dad blinked. What are you talking about? I have been building this for 6 months. A housing development company that serves low-income families while generating real returns. The board just approved it. Unanimously. I start in 30 days. Caroline's face had gone pale. You are starting a company? Yes. Using our family name? I asked the board to include it. They agreed. Brennan Urban Development. It has a nice ring to it. Dad's face was red. You cannot just start a company with our name. There are brand implications. Legal considerations. I have lawyers. They have reviewed everything. The name is available. The board approved it. It is done. Mom appeared at Dad's elbow. Natalie, this is wonderful news. Why did you not tell us you were working on this? Because you would have told me I could not do it. That I was not ready. That nonprofit work did not prepare me for real business. So I did it without telling you. And I succeeded. James started clapping. Slow. Deliberate. Then louder. A few other people joined in. Uncertain. Confused. But clapping nonetheless. Caroline found her voice. $12 million. For affordable housing. That is not a real business. That is subsidized charity. It is profitable charity. We project 15% returns in year 3. 20% by year 5. We serve people who need it, while building wealth for investors. That is real business. Dad was staring at me like he had never seen me before. You built a proposal strong enough to convince investors to give you $12 million. Yes. Without my help. Without the company resources. Yes. Why did you not come to me? I could have helped. You would have taken over. Made it yours. Or told me I was not capable. I needed to do this on my own. To prove I could. The room was still silent. Everyone watching. Waiting to see what would happen next. Dad set down his glass. His face was unreadable. You should have told me. Would you have believed in me? He did not answer. Could not answer. Because we both knew the truth. He would not have believed. Would not have supported. Would have dismissed me the same way he always had. I looked at Caroline. I am happy for you. Truly. You earned your promotion. But I earned this too. And I need you to see that. She did not respond. Just stared at me. Shocked. Maybe hurt. Maybe impressed. I could not tell. I turned to the room. Thank you for coming to celebrate Caroline tonight. She is going to be an incredible VP. And in 5 years, an incredible CEO. I am proud of her. I hope you can be proud of me too. Then I walked out. Carrying my phone. Carrying the proof that I was more than they thought. Behind me, the party slowly resumed. Quieter. Uncertain. Forever changed. I did not sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment over and over. The look on Dad's face. Caroline's shock. The room's silence. I had wanted vindication. Proof that I mattered. That I was capable. But now, lying in the dark, I felt hollow. Like I had won something but lost something else. My phone rang at 7 in the morning. Dad. I almost did not answer. But I did. Hello. We need to talk. Can you come to the office? When? Now. Dad, it is Sunday. I know what day it is. This cannot wait. I got dressed. Drove to the Brennan Industries headquarters. The building Grandpa built. The empire I had never been part of. Dad's office was on the 42nd floor. Corner office. Floor-to-ceiling windows. The kind of space that reminded you of power. He was sitting at his desk when I arrived. Looked tired. Older than I remembered. Sit down. I sat. He pushed a folder across the desk. I looked at this morning. Your proposal. The one you sent to the investment board. They forwarded a copy to me. They should not have done that. I am on their advisory council. They wanted my input before finalizing. My stomach dropped. You knew. Before last night. I knew 3 days ago. You knew and you said nothing. Just let me stand there. I wanted to see what you would do. How you would handle the spotlight. Whether you were really ready for this. That is cruel. That is business. You want to run a company? You need thick skin. You need to handle pressure. Last night was a test. I failed, then. No. He leaned forward. You passed. You stood up in a room full of people who doubted you and claimed your success. That takes guts. That takes confidence. I was impressed. I did not know what to say. Did not trust his words. Did not know if this was genuine or another manipulation. Your proposal is good. Really good. The financial models are solid. The partnerships are smart. You found a way to make affordable housing profitable. That is innovative. Thank you. But you are wrong about one thing. What? You do not need to do this alone. You do not need to prove anything to me anymore. You already did. I felt tears building. Fought them back. It is too late for that. It is not too late. I want to help. I want Brennan Industries to partner with Brennan Urban Development. We have resources, connections, expertise. Let me support you the way I should have years ago. Why now? Why after 7 years of dismissing my work? He sighed. Because I was wrong. I measured your worth by my standards. By what I valued. I did not see that you were building something just as important. Just as lasting. Different, but not lesser. You called it charity. Dependency. I know. I was wrong. And I am sorry. The words hung in the air. Unfamiliar. Unexpected. I do not need your company's help. I have funding. I have a plan. I know. But partnerships make us stronger. You have vision and passion. We have infrastructure and reach. Together, we could scale this faster. Help more people. Build something that outlasts both of us. I studied his face. Looking for the angle. The way he would take over. Control. Diminish my role. I did not see it. Just saw an aging man trying to make amends. I would need to control operations. Final say on decisions. Agreed. No interference. No overruling me because you think you know better. Agreed. And Caroline? How does this affect her? It does not. She is still VP. Still the heir to Brennan Industries. This is separate. Your company. Your legacy. Running parallel to hers, not competing with it. I thought about it. About the risk of letting him in. About the benefits of having his support. I will consider it. That is all I ask. I stood to leave. Stopped at the door. Dad? Yes. Why did you toast to the real heir last night? Why not just say Caroline was promoted? He was quiet for a moment. Because I was trying to convince myself that I had made the right choice. That favoring one daughter over another was justified by her qualifications. And now I realize I never should have chosen. You are both heirs. Just to different things. Caroline will run the company. You will build something new. Both matter. Both are real. I nodded. Left before he could see me cry. Caroline called that afternoon. Asked if we could meet. Just us. No parents. No audience. We met at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. She arrived looking tired. Less perfect than usual. She ordered. We sat. Neither of us knowing how to start. I am sorry, she said finally. For what? For last night. For not seeing what you were building. For dismissing your work. You were just being honest. I do make less money. I do work in a different field. But that does not make it less valuable. I have been thinking about what you said. About profitable charity. About serving people while building wealth. It is brilliant, not really brilliant. Thank you. I felt threatened. When you announced it. Like you were taking something from me. Dad's approval. The family legacy. My moment. I was not trying to take anything. I was just trying to earn something. I know. And that is what makes me feel worse. You were not competing with me. I was competing with you. And I did not even realize it. We have always been compared. That is not your fault. No, but I benefited from it. I was the golden child. You were the disappointment. And I let that narrative stand because it made me feel special. You are special. You earned your promotion. So did you. But I acted like yours was less impressive because it was different. That was wrong. We sat in silence. Sisters. Rivals. Strangers trying to become something else. Can I ask you something? Caroline said. Of course. Why did you not tell me? About the company. The proposal. You must have been working on it for months. Because I did not think you would believe in it. In me. That hurts. But it is probably true. I have been so focused on my own path I stopped seeing yours. You see it now. I do. And Nat. I am proud of you. Really proud. The words broke something open in me. Something I had been holding tight for years. The need for her approval. Her acknowledgement. Her belief. Thank you. Do you think we can fix this? Our relationship? I do not know. Maybe. If we try. I want to try. Me too. She reached across the table. Took my hand. We are going to be running separate companies. Brennan Industries and Brennan Urban Development. But we are still sisters. I do not want to lose that. Neither do I. Can we start over? Not as rivals. As partners. Supporting each other instead of competing. I would like that. We finished our coffee. Made plans to have dinner the following week. Small steps. Careful. But steps forward nonetheless. 30 days later, I walked into my new office. Small. Modest compared to Dad's tower. But mine. Brennan Urban Development. The name on the door. The company I had built. My team was small. 5 people initially. Operations manager. Financial analyst. 2 project coordinators. 1 administrative assistant. All of them passionate about affordable housing. All of them willing to take a risk on something new. Our first project was in the works. A 40-unit apartment building. Below market rents. Services on site. Job training. Financial counseling. Everything residents needed to build stability. And profitable. Projected returns of 15%. Proof that doing good and doing well were not opposites. The work was hard. Harder than nonprofit work because now I answered to investors. Had to balance mission with margins. Impact with returns. But I loved it. Every spreadsheet. Every negotiation. Every decision that brought us closer to opening our doors. Dad kept his word. Brennan Industries partnered with us. Provided access to contractors. Negotiated better terms with suppliers. Connected us with municipal partners. Support without interference. Caroline and I talked weekly. Shared challenges. Celebrated victories. Slowly rebuilt what competition had broken. 6 months in, we opened our first building. 40 families moved in. People who had been struggling. Who needed a chance. Who got one. At the ribbon cutting, Dad and Mom stood beside me. Caroline too. And my team. The people who had believed when no one else did. I gave a short speech. Thanked the investors. The partners. The team. Then I said something I had been thinking about for months. This building represents a belief. That business can serve people. That profit and purpose are not enemies. That success is not singular. My sister runs a company worth $800 million. I run a company worth $12 million. Both matter. Both are real. Both are building legacy. Applause. Genuine. Warm. Afterward, Dad pulled me aside. I was wrong about you. For years. You are not the disappointing daughter. You never were. You were just the different daughter. And different is not less. Thank you for seeing that. I am proud of you. Truly proud. Those words. The ones I had wanted my entire life. Finally said. Finally meant. They mattered less than I thought they would. Because by then, I had learned something more important. I did not need his approval to be successful. Did not need his validation to matter. Did not need him to see me to know I was enough. But it was still nice to hear. 2 years after that party, after the toast to the real heir, Brennan Urban Development had grown. 3 buildings operational. 2 more are under construction. 200 families were housed. 15% returns for investors. We were profitable. Sustainable. Scaling. Caroline's career had grown too. She was thriving as VP. Learning. Leading. Preparing for the CEO role she would inherit. We were not rivals anymore. We were partners. Running separate companies that sometimes collaborated. Supporting each other instead of competing. One evening, Dad called a family dinner. All of us. Caroline and her husband. James and his girlfriend. Mom. Me. We met at Dad's house. The place where we had grown up. Where he had built his empire. Where we had learned what success looked like. He waited until after dinner to speak. Cleared his throat the way he always did before announcements. I want to talk about legacy. About what happens when I am gone. Mom touched his arm. Richard, you are not going anywhere. Not today. But eventually. And when I do, I want to make sure things are clear. Fair. Right. He looked at Caroline. You will inherit Brennan Industries. 51% controlling share. You have earned it. You will be a great CEO. She nodded. Accepting what we had all known for years. Then he looked at me. You will inherit 25% of Brennan Industries. Equal partnership with your sister. Your voice in the company that built our family. I blinked. Surprised. I have my own company. You do. And I am proud of it. But you are still a Brennan. Still part of this family. Still an heir to what your grandfather built. Caroline runs operations. You bring perspective. Together, you make the company better. I looked at Caroline. She smiled. Nodded. Agreed. And James, Dad continued. You get 25%. Same as Natalie. Equal voice. Equal stake. James looked shocked. I do not work at the company. You will. When you are ready. Or you will not. Either way, you are part of this family. You deserve your share. Dad leaned back. That is what I wanted to say. That I was wrong. About measuring worth by titles and salaries. About creating competition where there should have been support. About calling one of you the real heir as if the others did not matter. You all matter. You are all heirs. To different things maybe. But all real. All valuable. All mine. Mom was crying. Caroline too. James looked stunned. I just felt grateful. Not for the inheritance. For the recognition. For the understanding that had taken years to build. After dinner, Caroline and I stood on the back porch. Looking at the garden where we had played as kids. We did it, she said. We fixed things. We are fixing things. Still a work in progress. Agreed. But better than it was. Much better. She turned to me. I am glad you started your company. Glad you proved Dad wrong. Glad you forced us all to see you differently. I am glad you are still my sister. Always. We stood there in the silence. Two women who had been rivals. Who had competed for approval. Who had learned that success was not a zero-sum game. That night, driving home, I thought about that toast. The one Dad had given 2 years ago. To the real heir. To Caroline. It had hurt. Made me feel small. Invisible. Less than. But it had also pushed me. Made me fight. Made me build something I might never have built if I had felt comfortable. Sometimes, being overlooked is a gift. It gives you freedom. Space to grow without expectations. Room to fail without disappointing anyone. I had used that space. Built something real. Proved that I was more than the disappointing daughter. And in the process, I had learned the most important lesson. I did not need to be the heir Dad chose. I needed to be the heir I chose for myself. That was the real inheritance. Not money. Not titles. Not approval. The belief that I was enough. Exactly as I was. Building exactly what I was meant to build. Everything else was just bonus.